Let's be honest. Sometimes in life we feel stuck. We just feel like we're in a rut. We feel like we're doing the same thing over and over again, and we don't know how to break free to move on to the next thing. Let's be honest. That's life. It's very real. However, there are some ways for you to be able to move forward and stop feeling so stuck. So let's check out these tips that I have for you that I've used personally to help myself get out of that rut and move forward. Tip number one, it's gonna sound crazy, but believe me, it's definitely gonna help. And that is acknowledge the feeling. Sometimes we don't ever want to acknowledge, oh my God, I feel stuck. I feel like I don't know what's going on. It happens. It's okay. Sometimes you just have to acknowledge that feeling. There are seasons in your life where you're going to feel like you're doing the same thing over and over again, and it's going to drive you up a wall. But that is okay. Everybody experiences those type of feelings. The one thing that I will say, when you acknowledge the feeling, like I feel stuck, I feel like I'm doing the same thing over and over again, you have to give yourself some self-compassion. Yes, you have to give yourself grace to say, okay, I'm stuck in this rut. I'm just feeling crazy. I'm feeling insane. Okay, it's all right to feel that feeling, but you can't stay stuck in that feeling. You have to acknowledge it. You have to give yourself grace. And then, of course, you just have to move forward. But sometimes that's easier said than done. So I know you're like, now, girl, you saying move forward. How do you move forward when you feel stuck? Very simple. Tip number two is identify your root cause. I'm sure you're wondering what I mean by that. Do you lack clarity on what you're trying to do? Now, this doesn't matter if it's in life, in your job, in whatever. Do you lack clarity? Are you burnt out? Because sometimes we are stuck in a rut because we are burnt out. Speaking from experience, I love to do ministry work at my church. And no, this is not just a Christian take on it, but this is the one place where I enjoyed working, but I was doing so much. I got burnt out and didn't realize I was burnt out. And I was frustrated and I was angry with everybody. And they hadn't done anything. I had just overworked myself. And it was just completely and totally insane. Also, are you afraid? Because sometimes you're right there at coming out of being stuck in a position that you're in, but you're afraid to step out and move on to the next thing. Again, speaking from experience, I was so afraid to sit in front of these cameras, talk to you guys, give you my input on my life, on things that I've learned, but I had to take a leap of faith and do it while I'm afraid. Like sometimes I'm afraid that nobody's going to ever watch this video, but I still got to do it. And then also, is the root cause a comparison? Because I know I am not the only person that compares my life to somebody else's. Exactly. I know I'm not. Literally, I've seen so many other people doing the same thing I'm doing. I'm like, oh my God, they have followers, they have viewers, they have all of this. But they were also sitting in the same position that I was sitting in when they first start out, or no matter what you're doing in life, when you first start out, you're comparing yourself to someone when they have reached the end result or they've reached their peak. You never think to stop and compare yourself to someone when they first started, because maybe you're starting out with an advantage over them when they first started, and you don't have to do as much work as they had to do when they were trying to come up and do everything that it is that you want to do, whether it's content creation, whether it's your job, whether it's in relationships, whatever. Sometimes that comparison is just going to make you stop, and it's going to make you stay stuck in the place that you don't want to be in. Now, I will say this. Tip number 3, it's going to sound crazy, but just trust me in this one, okay? Small steps over big momentum. Now I'm going to use this nice little analogy of a staircase. When you're walking up the stairs, you can see the entire staircase. We're going to say the staircase is whatever it is you want to accomplish in life. Like me, I want to be a successful content creator and entrepreneur. I can see the entire staircase. Focusing on the entire staircase cripples me in fear. So instead of me focusing on the big momentum, the virality that I would love to have, don't focus on going viral. Don't focus on the big entire staircase. Focus on that one step that is in front of you. Because that next step is post content, get clients. For me, it is. I don't know what it could be for you. So I'm going to focus on that step. So step one, let's post content, which means I have to record content like I'm doing right now. You have to do that for my business. Book a client. I've done that. So now I did that one step. Now I can move to the next step. So then as you focus on these steps instead of the overall picture, those steps, you slowly get to exactly where you want to get to. You're just going step by step by step. Small wins over big momentum. Now, tip number 4 is going to sound totally crazy, just like tip number 3. But tip number 4, shift your environment. I'm sure you're wondering what I mean by that. Last week, I was supposed to record, I think, probably like 10 hours of content. I could not do it. I could not get focused. I could not get out of that rut. I started breaking out in acne. I started just, when I say stressing, didn't even realize I was stressing. So I took a beat. I didn't do what I had planned to do. I had to shift my environment, and my environment was cluttered. Because I don't want to say dirty. It was just cluttered. I had to rearrange some things in this room. Like, you see all of that. I had to get a new computer monitor because it was just a lot of things that just went haywire. I had to rearrange some of my other filming rooms. I had to rearrange so many other things. And let me tell you, now my mind is clear. I don't feel stuck. I feel just free. I feel the clarity that I needed to move forward. So now I have everything written down that I want to do. I've bought the extra things that I needed. I promise you, it is so crazy that if your environment is not where you need it to be, change it. If you got to rearrange a room, if you got to look into feng shui, if you got to go take a walk, go take a walk, but you have to do something different. You have to break up the age-old routine that you do every day. Like when I used to work for other companies, every day drive the same way to work. Same time, everything. Seeing the same people I'm seeing in cars, don't know who these people are, but we're all driving the same way. And so one day I was like, I'm just going to change up the direction that I'm going. It helped put me in a better mood. It helped give me a better outlook. Sometimes you just have to do things differently. And that's why you have to shift your environment. Because shifting and changing, even one small little thing, can change the trajectory of where it is that you plan to go. And final tip number 5, get some accountability. If you've been following along with any of the things that I have been posting and talking about, accountability is one of those things that is really underrated and we never really talk about it. But I'm going to say this. In this, you feel stuck. A lot of times we feel stuck because we are by ourselves. We're alone. We're not really engaging with other people who can sometimes help us see things differently and from a different perspective. I suggest you link up with a community of people who are like-minded, who have the same goals and things that you have. If that means that you are going to community events, especially like for entrepreneurs like myself, or linking up with other content creators who do the same type of content that you do, or they just do content, period. Link up with them. Get a partner. Get a mentor. I've had several mentors throughout my life and not just in what I'm doing now, because now it's hard to find a mentor because sometimes people don't want to give away their trade secrets, but get you a mentor, become a mentor. Because like me, as I'm going through this journey, there is some younger people who are, a little bit younger than me, a lot bit younger than me, but they want to do the same thing and they have questions. And everybody does things differently, but sometimes you just have to say, hey, this is what I did. You can do it too, or you can do it in whichever way that you need to do. But sometimes you have to hold yourself accountable. And sometimes it's hard to hold yourself accountable because sometimes you give yourself a little bit too much grace. But you need someone that's going to be like, hey, you're not doing what you said you were going to do. So what's up? Like, even with me and working out and everything, I've been doing the workouts. I've been trying to hold myself accountable and it's going pretty okay. But then I also have an accountability partner who's like, did you do at least 30 minutes of movement today? Yes, I did 30 minutes of movement today. Because, again, small steps, small wins over the big momentum. But I'm just saying, you may not like that tip. You may not want anyone to hold you accountable, hold your feet to the fire. That's okay. But you got to do it the way that is good for you and it will actually get you out of being stuck in this same old routine and in the same rut. Okay? Now, I hope these tips were helpful for you. Just remember, if you feel stuck, sometimes you got to do things just a little bit differently. You got to seek some help. You got to write it down. You got to go find your person. If you watch Grey's Anatomy, you know what I mean. But you have to just do things a little bit differently to get out of the rut, get unstuck, and actually just start feeling motivated again to do whatever your passions and your loves of your heart are. Okay? But if you enjoyed any of these tips, do me a favor. Subscribe to the channel, like, comment, and share this with someone else who you actually may know may be feeling a little bit stuck right now in their life. But as always, I love you guys, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.